We are 2.5 weeks away from Super Bowl 51, so let's start today with the oversaturation and unbearable amount of coverage. It's not that bad yet because of the championship games, but starting next Tuesday, I consider it the worst 12-day period in sports media. Wow. I do. Because not only do you get which one offensive lineman going out 13 weeks before today, coming back ahead of the Super Bowl, drinking Gatorade combination cocktails with Monster Energy, will have the biggest impact on Matt Ryan or Aaron Rodgers not getting sacked from the blind side. Well, I'm so glad you asked me that question, Francis. I've been prepared for that all my life. It's absurd. There's just too much of it. It's like smushing all election coverage into 12 days.
It's not surprising. This is a competition that is basically set up in a way that it's phenomenal watching entertainment, but that watching entertainment is plagued with as many ads and as many different selling points as you can possibly have. So it's no surprise that on the lead up to it, they're going to try and fit in as many subway breakdown of Aaron Rodgers' stats whilst not wearing a helmet, whilst he needs to always wear a helmet whilst Aaron Rodgers was dating.
I like the branding.
What's her name?
Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn. I love the Olivia Mystery Tent. There's so many things you can do.
Olivia causing all problems for Aaron Rodgers, even though he's having a remarkable season.
Francis, there's a Super Bowl that we'd like to see. And guess what? No matter who comes out of both championship games, you're bound to have a very good football game and a very fun football game because all four of these teams have something in common that the common viewer or the viewer in itself will like, and that is high-scoring offenses. Yes. No one's ever said that the lower-scoring football game was better than the 55-53 shootout. And while I think the NFL will do whatever it can to not have the Patriots in the Super Bowl, Roger Goodell, by the way, did not go to Foxborough, Patriots Stadium, Gillette Stadium for the Divisional round playoff game, and will not be going to the AFC Championship game. He's going back to Atlanta. Of course. And his whole thing is like, well, it's the last game at the Dome. I don't want to miss that.
I don't want to witness what happens when a guy who I've been trying to keep away from the game all season just gets back to the Super Bowl.
He has to give Tom Brady the Lombardi
It's
trophy
going to be the best.
after suspending the man for 4 games.
The only person that won't want to see that is the creator of the Michael Jordan crying face meme, because there will be. Oh, they might want to see it because they'll just attach it to Roger Goodell. Yeah, no doubt.
So is there one that you'd want? Do you want to see Brady versus Rodgers? Or are you thinking the killer bees, Ben Roethlisberger and Brown and Chris Boswell?
What I think is I've already won a little bit, right? Because we've seen some phenomenal football games. The Cowboys was a phenomenal game versus the Packers, right? This is something that we've been talking about all season, right? You have those weeks in the NFL when you have to remind yourself, and this is me who has newly become accustomed to how much I love it, remind yourself that it is a fun game to watch. I remember when we watched the Rams have a 6-3 game, it might have been, versus the Seahawks.
It was -9 to 12.
I had to scratch my eyes I had to put my eyes back in. It was horrendous. It was god-awful. And I feel like regardless of who gets to the Super Bowl, and my preference leans towards the Steelers versus the Packers, just because I feel like it would be a phenomenal game offensively. I'm just excited to see how the Patriots line up against the Steelers and how they deal with all this bullshit, makeshift, kind of false feud that's going on between them, and whether that adds to the already intensity that we're expected to see.
Patriots are assholes.
Yeah.
With Le'Veon Bell, what it used to be was the play is drawn up, you hand the ball off, and you're praying there's a hole. Your offensive linemen do their job, and you do yours. So if your offensive linemen do their job where you're supposed to run, a hole will open up, and you go through that hole and hopefully get into the secondary. Or break off a big run, or just get 4.5, 5 yards. Even that average per carry means you're getting a first down every 2.5 plays, and that's great. Le'Veon Bell decides, well, if there's no hole there, I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
In the backfield. And I'm gonna wait for the hole. My vision, for some reason, is like that of a fucking radar, and I can see out the corners of my eyeballs. Be like, hole over there, and go that way. I wonder if they'll ever consider having Le'Veon Bell as a trick play, just throw the ball a little bit. Like if they know he's gonna wait and there's gonna be time for the play to change or develop while he has the ball in his hands. Imagine if just one wide receiver on his block just slips a little bit off.
Yeah.
7 yards downfield, and he can just lob it over. I mean, it's dangerous because the speed of the game, but Le'Veon Bell has changed the speed of the game.
What are you expecting the Patriots to do a little bit differently?
Is you have to put pressure on the quarterback within like 1.8 seconds.
Yeah.
All these quarterbacks, Brady, Rodgers, Ryan, and Roethlisberger, have the ability to get that ball out in under 2 seconds. Snap to pass like 1.8 seconds, and they can hit you for 7 to 15 yards every single time. And before you know it, in a blink of an eye, without even huddling up, they have gone the length of the field in 2 minutes and are knocking on the door. The Chiefs had the best red zone defense of the teams remaining, and that's why every time the Steelers got close, they really were able to lock it down because there was a little bit less field to work with. Yeah. So I think it's actually, in general, a general blanket statement would be, I think it's when you have so much field, to work with in terms of being on your own 20-yard line and you have 80 yards to go, it does open up the sandbox of plays that you can use. But when you get to the 15-yard line and all of a sudden that field shrinks, there is no fly route you can run. There is no beat the coverage 40 yards downfield. You're out of room there. So I think for the most part, the Steelers in this matchup would just have to get a little more creative in the red zone, and the Patriots, you know for a fact, the Patriots, how they play, dip and dunk and dip and dunk, and it's exhausting. And they do it over 5 minutes for a perfect drive, and they're going to score points. I hope we get a combined 150 total points this weekend. 45-ish, 40 points a team-ish. Boom. Just like Patriots 45-44 win and covers the spread, and the Steelers cover the spread, and also the same for the Packers, who also cover the spread. So it's important because Jason's betting a lot of money this weekend.
And so, who do you want to see in the Super Bowl versus who do you think you'll see in the Super Bowl?
I would like to see Patriots-Packers. I think we're going to see, believe it or not, we might see Steelers-Falcons.
Wow.
Because last year, think about this one last year. Last year, Seahawks played the Panthers in a very similar game to what we're seeing between the narratives, the same as the Packers and the Falcons. The Panthers, are they for real? We know they're 15-1 during the season, but are they the Panthers? Is Ron Rivera real coach? Is Cam the real deal? Could he win in the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks? They're experienced. They've been here. That defense, they've won a Super Bowl already. We know what they can do. Everybody took the Seahawks. Some took the Panthers.
Yeah.
This same thing, 77% I think are taking the Packers. We're like 23-ish% are taking the Falcons. And I think the fear of that one is Matt Ryan's the MVP of the league according to what the writers are going to vote, even though I think Aaron Rodgers should get it. And Aaron Rodgers has been doing amazing things. I would like to see Patriots-Packers. I think it's more likely that we see Steelers-Falcons, and I think that's still an amazing game.